Way back in 2009, the website HalloweenForum.com was having a discussion about a newly revealed Halloween animatronic. His appearance got him the nickname Jack the Ripper. There was a lot of interest in him, but he ultimately was never produced. So, what happened? It turns out, this was an item that was originally developed for Sam's Club in 2008. Known at the time as the life-size grave robber with flaming grim head, however, there is some interesting history here. In the J. Marcus and Sunstar wholesale booths for 2009, there was a different character dressed in similar clothes. Despite the stock image being in the 2009 catalogs, the actual samples on display were of a different character, a pole-based character at that. It turns out they both had the same item number. Talk about deceptive advertising, because the catalogs online featured the stock photo of the different guy that had body turned and collapsed, versus a pole-based, completely different character. For the 2009 season, the character was given new audio, a new face, and new items to hold. An early on model actually surfaced on eBay in 2012 and went all the way to Italy. Years later, some collectors were able to obtain that Italian butler as it was coined. It turned out that he was built off of one of these mysterious so-called Jack the Rippers. The very early Italian butlers, as it was known for a while, there are only two of them I could confirm, were actually built straight off of a 2008 sample. In my archive, I saw that the 2008 item was supposed to have the same audio as Pete the Zombie or the Bowtie Zombie. Given that I have a prototype one of those with an EEPROM, I had CJ Welper decide to put the prototype Pete the Zombie EEPROM in this butler body, and to our surprise, it literally started performing in full. This whole time, the Pete the Zombie prototype head had the EEPROM program for this mysterious 2008 character in full. Given that they shared the same audio, it made sense to just copy and paste that in and slap it into the item. With this in mind, CJ Welper did the unthinkable. He was not only able to bring the 2008 guy back to life, but transfer the 2009 character to a new body, taking pre-existing similar clothes and modifying them to look like the original clothes. Now there are two items standing side by side in front of me to film for you today. The 2009 Lantern Butler and the 2008 Greives the Grave Watcher. Hello everyone, this is DD1 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at two very special animatronics. So these are both by Gemmy Industries, and both of them are the same item number. So this item number has quite a bit of a history with it, because in 2008 we started off with this character on the left who is known as Greives the Grave Watcher, and he was ultimately for Sam's Club, but in the end they decided not to pursue him as an item they would sell, and so nobody picked him up for 2008. And then in 2009 they decided, let's try a different approach. We're going to use the same outfit, but we're going to make a different character with it, and that is this butler on the right here. And eventually he even became pole-based and therefore lost the body turn function that he does have. And what's pretty crazy about this item number here is that in the 2009 wholesale catalogs like Sunstar and Gerson and stuff like that, and J. Marcus as well, they use the stock photo of this guy right here. But the samples they got were a pole-based version of this guy. And for anyone that was going to be ordering the product, it was very misleading, because you saw this, but ultimately we're going to be getting this. So when they went to the trade shows and whatnot, there was this guy in the 09 booth and not this guy. What's pretty insane here is these both started from one piece, because to make the first one or two prototypes of the 2009 Butler, they reused Greives prototypes and samples. And that was the case with this. So this guy's original body was this on the left here. So everything but the head, hands, and hair was originally, it was to this guy at one point. But then we did some digging around, and I have that life-size prototype Pete the Zombie, and his EEPROM was at CJ Webbler's house. And I looked in my files and I saw that this guy was supposed to have the same audio as him, and they were from the same year. So it's like, why not? We'll just pop the EEPROM from Greives, pop the EEPROM from Pete the Zombie into this Butler body here. And lo and behold, it just started functioning. So this whole time, I actually had the brain, if you will, to Greives. And given that, it was ultimately decided that there should be, Greives should be brought back to life, and then the 2009 Butler should be transferred to another body. And so that's ultimately what happened. So what you see here used to just be one item, but now they've been separated into two, and it is simply incredible. So this guy's costume was made from an Edwardian Butler vest, and then I still had my original 2010 Deadhead Butler, who actually has the same costume pattern as these guys and Vigor and Scrooge. They actually all have the same relative costume pattern. However, the Deadhead Butler had practically the same fabric that was ultimately used on this guy's costume, made by the factory. So what we did is, and this was a project that was pretty much all done by CJ Webbler, I provided my Deadhead Butler's costume, I provided a spare one of these I had, and I provided the spare Edwardian Butler costume that I had. And then he went out and bought this silver fabric, and then he ultimately, which is a pretty perfect match to the original, and then the outfit was created. So then there was just a new EEPROM and circuit board that were put into this base here. The clothes were transferred on, and then ultimately the hands, head, and accessories. And it turned out amazing. And then after that happened, there was what remained, and there was a good long period of time between the two events happening. But ultimately, this guy was given a small spirit of fire, he was given hands that were painted gray, and a shiver's head that was painted accurately. The only real inaccuracies to this, with it being original, are that the hair is a little bit lighter of a gray than what was used, so at some point I might try and replace that. And there is actually a unique Spirit of Fire sculpted that was kind of a medium size for him to hold, that was ultimately made of vacuum form plastic. And it did still have the fan effect in it, but it was lighter weight and a little bit larger, but it was not nearly as large as the full-size Spirit of Fire. And that has unfortunately kind of been lost to time for now, at the time of making this video, but it still looks pretty solid with a small Spirit of Fire in his hand. It also is a little more realistic, as that's a little bit more realistic of a skull size compared to the medium and especially the large ones. But yeah, so both of these guys are using their exact original programs, which is incredible, yet they are their own separate entities now. So instead of it just being one where there's a lot of missed opportunity, it is now two of them in their own independent forms. And as you can see on this guy's tag here, the number is 23596, which is a number that is practically burned into my memory at this point. But it's just really interesting how mysterious this guy was. He was known as Jack the Ripper on Halloween Forum from 2009 on, and people could only speculate about what he did, what he said, etc., or whatever happened to him. But we have one here. The original 09 Butler showed up on eBay in 2012 as an auction, and somebody in Italy won that auction, and then someone I know named Liam ended up somehow getting the Butler back from Italy to his place in America, and I eventually, through CJ Webler and a whole bunch of other processes ended up with it. And now we have both of them in their respective former glories, if you will. And it is just simply incredible, amazing stuff that this is even possible. And I mean, what are the odds that another item I have had the same program that this guy had? So just really awesome stuff. And number 23596 has just such an interesting backstory. Not too many like this where just completely different items were made sharing the same number. I mean, they're not even, they have visual similarities in the clothes, but that's literally it. Everything else about them is completely different. But I'm going to get into the demonstrations now, and I'm going to first demonstrate the 09 Butler here.
I shall announce your presence to the master, even though he already knows you're here.
And I will be doing them in the dark if I have space on this camera.
I say, what a lovely outfit you're wearing tonight. It truly sets the appropriate mood for the evening. I bid you welcome to our humble abode. May I offer you something enticing? Welcome. Shall I stable your horse for you? Come right in. Won't you join our festivities in the Grand Hall? Another guest. So good of you to come. Please, make yourself at home. The master will be about shortly. Feel free to help yourself to one of my refreshments. Lately, I've been feeling a bit poorly. How do I look?
And he does need better arms. They're a little too short, and this one is posable, and this one is not posable, and also too short. So at some point, I hope to give him better arms, but aside from that, he is pretty much good to go for the rest of his existence, I suppose. And now we'll get into the demo of Greives the Grave Watcher here. His fabric is a little, it'll get stuck to itself sometimes in there, but other than that, he's pretty good to go.
Welcome. Come in, if you dare. Are you frightened yet? Oh, you will be. Oh, good. New victim, guests. Enjoy yourselves. It may be your last chance. You should not have come here. You see. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Welcome. Come in, if you dare. Are you frightened yet? Oh, you will be.
So yeah, there they are, and as much of a combination of old items as Greives is on the left there, he just has such a unique personality to him. It's just a really neat looking piece. And it's not always looked up to when it comes to having reskin items. I could have said that a lot better, but we'll leave it in. You get what I mean though. But with this guy, despite being just a rehash of a bunch of different things, he just still feels very original in nature, kind of like how Count Vigor does, despite having the Dr. Shivers head. You know, he has a unique personality and voice and whatnot. And this audio was not even exclusively to him, but it still just kind of works great. And the thundering sound works because of the Spirit of Fire Flames, and it's just a really solid piece. And I like this guy as well. This guy, there's mixed opinions on because of the puppet mouth and painted on eyes, but I think it's a really neat piece and it has a lot of character to it. So I'm going to activate them both at the same time here, and then I'm going to unplug the light and we'll see how that looks.
I shall announce your presence to the master. Yes, even though he already knows you're here.
Alright, so let me unplug that light, and then we'll do them in the dimmer light now.
I say, what a lovely outfit you're wearing tonight. It truly sets the appropriate mood for the evening.
Enjoy yourselves. It may be your last chance. You should not have come here. You see. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Where shall I stable your horse for you?
If you dare.
Come right in. Won't you join our festivities in the Grand Hall? Our guest.
Are you
So good to come.
You will be.
Please, make yourself at home. The monster will be about shortly.
Guests.
Yeah, guys, there they are. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think this is just an incredible situation here where both of them can be here for us. Not many of these were made in the collapsing structure. I only know of 2 confirmed because there's this one and the one on the showroom tag there from the factory photo. And with this guy, there were a few of them made. There's actually an earlier version of him that held 3 skulls in his hand. But this one is not set up to have that. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, be sure to leave them down below. I love that I'm able to make this video for you guys and share this with you. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.